I remember the Coatroom, I just don't remember you is amazingly funny. I love this episode of Two and a Half Men. It's the 19th episode of the first season, it's directed by Gail Mancuso, and it stars the usual cast. No Berta, unfortunately. I think she would have brought a really great energy to it, but at the same time, there's so much comedy in this that I'm okay with her not being in this. We also have Teri Hatcher as Liz. And as always, there will be spoilers as I go through the narrative and talk about various things that I really enjoyed, things that really stood out to me. I did make quite a few notes with this one. I don't know if I'll go through everything because we might be here for quite a while, but honestly, I really thoroughly enjoyed this one. So it's actually Jake's birthday soon, and it starts off with Alan and Judith arguing who gets Jake when. Meanwhile, Charlie gets to sit out on the deck with Jake, and it's a really lovely moment with Charlie and Jake, and I rather enjoyed it. And then it's Jake's birthday, and we learn that Charlie had actually slept with Judith's sister Liz, played by Teri Hatcher, at their wedding reception, which is, well, we get a lot of comedy out of it, but for Judith and Alan, probably wasn't a great moment. And Liz comes over for Jake's birthday. They go off to see a show, and normally I don't care for scenes in cars. By extension, I don't care for road trip based films and shows, and I don't know why. I just tend to not like cars or vehicles as a setting. But it is so funny. We have Evelyn repeatedly going on about needing a drinky poo, and then I think Alan told her to just take a nap, and there's this brilliant scene where Holland Taylor just kind of flops down, and it's wonderful and so funny, and the fact that I enjoyed the scene in the car is testament, in my opinion, to how well written this episode is. And Evelyn is very funny throughout this. She basically is drunk throughout of it, and she has a lot of very, very funny things to say. And I feel like that's the comedy, or the places where Berta would have provided comedy had she been in it. I think having them both in would have been great, but at least one of the two definitely made things a little bit more, hilarious. And meanwhile, while Jake is trying to enjoy his birthday, Liz is basically tormenting Judith by saying she wants an adjustment from Alan. And it's clear that adjustment is a euphemism. And I don't think Liz actually wanted to sleep with Alan. I think she just wanted to wind up Judith. And we have a lot of arguing with Liz and Judith. And we then learn that Alan actually asked Liz out before he asked Judith out. And as I've mentioned before, I binged watched this show a lot in around about 2010. And I can't remember a lot of the comedy and a lot of the shocking reveals, which I'm really grateful for, because it means I get to enjoy them with a fresh perspective. And I couldn't remember that fact. And I kind of gasped. I had a little intake of air when that was revealed. That's a pretty shocking fact, and I think it was delivered very well. And then we have this amazing, very rare moment where Judith decides, fine, Liz, you can sleep with my ex-husband. I'm going to sleep with Charlie. And there's this amazing moment where Marin Hinkle has her arm draped around Charlie's shoulders, and we basically never get physical contact between Charlie and Judith, so it's really strange, and it's uncomfortable for Charlie. It's kind of uncomfortable to watch, but in a way that's really entertaining, and they both go off and they're both bluffing, and it's fabulous. And then ultimately we have the magic act with Jake and Rose dressed as a clown, because why wouldn't she be dressed as a clown? It's fabulous. It's funny, it's entertaining, it's shocking in places. This is probably one of my favorite episodes so far from season 1. I'm so glad that I can't remember. I mean, it's been nearly 1.5 decades since I last watched this show properly. So in my defense, that's a long time, but I'm really glad I don't remember a lot of it in specific detail, because it means that I get to enjoy the gasping intake of breath moments, and of course the amazing comedy. And this is definitely Very, very funny episode. I remember the Coatroom, I Just Don't Remember You is absolutely one of my favourites so far from season one. Really thoroughly enjoyed it.